Hello, how's it going? I hope things are well. Things have been iffy for me. The pandemic has taken its toll. The first thing that I lost was childcare, and that was a real blow because for 3 months I had to look after my own children. Dreadful, dreadful. Which is why there has been a bit of an extended absence, just because my ability to do work has been affected, shall we say, quite drastically. So it's been tough, but the good news is we are slowly getting back to normal. I now have childcare and I'm catching up with stuff. I've got a script finished now. I did bits and pieces of this script writing over the last few months, and I did a lot of research as well, just when I could. But we finally come together. We've got a script ready. Going to start filming for that very soon because I'm now back at work. Not quite up to full speed yet. It takes a while to get back in the saddle, but we're getting there. We're getting there. So I thought I'd tick off something on my to-do list and do February's vlog in June, which is I know something doesn't quite add up. What is that? February's the second month. This is the 6th month, so that's 4 months. There's a month missing, which is that's purely my fault. But I'm claiming 3 months off for that pandemic. It all started, I think it was in March, we actually contracted COVID-19 as a family unit. I don't know who caught it, but when it comes to disease, generally it's the children who are to blame, specifically my son, because, he touches everything. His hygiene's not the best. He's 4 years old, and if there's a disease going around, he's likely to pick it up. So maybe it was him, I don't know. Could have been me, could have been my wife. But yeah, I think we all got it. And the children got off relatively scot-free. Me and the wife were knocked out for a week or so with a fever, and then a further week with malaise. And then as soon as we recovered, the country went into lockdown and we lost childcare. So we were trapped inside for something like 11 weeks. And around about the same time, I don't know why, but the children started to wake up super early, like 6 a.m. So my days were essentially waking up or being woken up at 6 a.m. and looking after children till about 7 p.m. At which point I'd be tired, so I'd maybe have like an hour or two and then go to bed, just to try and keep up on sleep. So that's been my routine over the last few months, which hasn't been conducive to work. I only hope that you have fared better. I imagine if you don't have children, you've probably barely noticed. Some of you obviously might have been furloughed, or you might have been taken out of work, which is, that's an impact. But those of you with children will know. You will know how challenging it can be just trying to find something to do, because we didn't just lose childcare, we also lost the ability to see family members, so we couldn't fob off our children on the in-laws or on my parents. Yeah, but the good news is we are getting back to normal slowly. We actually can see my wife's mum now, so we do have something that resembles childcare. Me and the wife actually left the house. We left the house together for the first time in about a year without children, which was like a couple of hours. We went to the shops. Not that shopping is much fun right now, but we got out there, we went for a bit of a drive, and it was nice. It is nice. And one day, when the children are all grown up, we'll be able to do it again. We'll be able to do it again, and that'll be wonderful. Anyway, it's vlog time. What are we drinking? Aha. It's a joke. It's a coronavirus. Look, also it happens to be summer, and I'm quite partial to a cold Corona. Of course, I'm not going to drink it from the bottle like an animal. I have the Pilsner Horn, which is the appropriate glass for a nice crisp lager. But you'll notice I do have a wedge of lime in there. Anyway, I'm going to put a poll out for questions, and I don't want to stay up too late because the children are still waking up at 6 a.m. Baffling. I don't know why. I mean, the boy didn't get to bed till about 8 p.m. It's about 9 o'clock now. In fact, no, he got to bed about 8:30. Well, he was in bed at 7, of course, but he didn't get to sleep till about 8:30. Don't know why. He wakes up at 6 and he stays up till 9. baffling. Anyway, I'll just type it, everyone. No, oh, it's not everyone, that's from someone else. Everyone, questions for the vlog, please. Alright. About to message 500 plus people. Exciting times, send it now. Apologies for the ping. Alright, while the questions filter in, I'll pour this. You'll notice the cut there was to get the bottle opener, very smooth. Let's just pour this. And, I shall tell you what a fine lager like this tastes like. Okay, let's read some of the questions that come in. The first questions are always... Canadian Sapien says, where have you been? I have been at home. I have pretty much been 100% at home, looking after the children. Verily says, when's the next vlog? Kind of now, but I suppose it'll be when I upload it, which will probably be tomorrow, unless I forget to process it. I don't know, actually. Ooh, it ties up my computer for an hour. So I might do it, I don't know. Depends what I'm doing tomorrow. I will be able to work tomorrow because I do have childcare. It's just a question of when I can fit in the rendering. Maybe over lunchtime. And then I'll upload it. The Chris D says, how stuck are your balls to you in this current weather? Not doing too badly. But then, you know, it hasn't been super hot. I've been staying indoors. I've been outside a couple of times and it has been very hot. So I'm trying to avoid being outside in the midday sun. Ah, that's refreshing. It tastes like stale straw and metal. Yeah, it's Corona, all right. It's your macro lager. I don't mind it though. I don't mind it. I'm prepared to forgive Corona for all of its sins because it is refreshing, which is, you know, and it's relatively cheap, I suppose. Not the cheapest lager, but you wouldn't see me drinking Carling. Anyway, StarTacker, why have you been? Why have I been? Because the simple answer is because I haven't been able to do anything in the evenings because I've been too tired. That's why. Kenny TV, how long does a video usually take? It depends. My ability to do work varies. If it was just me and a computer and no external influence, I could probably do about 15 to 20 minutes of production a month. But I had a baby last year, and I mean, that had an impact. You know, there's no way around it. That has an impact on my ability to do work. So, right now, I don't know. Well, I mean, if you factor in coronavirus, then, you know, my ability was very close to nothing. You know, maybe 1-2 minutes of production a month. But I think overall now I'm coming back up to, you know, full speed. I'm probably at 10 or 15 minutes of production a month, which means a typical 20-minute video might take me 2 or 3 months. A 10-minute video could, in theory, do in a month, but we'll see about that. We'll see. I've got a 10-minute video coming up after this one, and we'll see how long that one takes. El Jonkmeister says, "Why was I born?" Ask your mum. Weeaboo, how have you been handling Corona? Fine. Just, I've been paralysed, that's the only thing. JJ and Django, is there a life worth living after consoles? I'm not sure what that means. I'm excited for the PS5 though. Skytech CEO says, do you exist? Yes. Cracker's the Parrot, have you ever read British comics like Dan Dare? Yes, although not massively. My major experience with Dan Dare is the game for the ZX Spectrum, which I loved. That was a brilliant game. Apoxo says, when will be the next classic arms? Presumably means iconic arms, and that will be the video after the one that I'm currently working on. So, in a while. But not a huge while, a bit of a while. Swankety Dankety, Thoughts on PS5 design? I don't love it. I don't think it's beautiful, but I'm probably still going to buy one just for the sake of having one and being able to record PS5 games. But I don't know. I wasn't blown away by the reveal. It's okay. I think they did an adequate job, but was it spectacular? No. But we'll see what Microsoft do in response. I was hoping to learn the price. That's the real thing. If it was $399, then wow, yeah, okay, that's pretty good. But if it's $599, Justin says, which Civ would you play in Civ 6 and what victory type do you prefer to play? I always favoured expansionism, which I think America are expansionist, and I think Russia are as well. The big Civs, I like to go wide rather than tall. And that normally leads to doing sometimes conquest, most often it ends up being a science victory. Because when you go wide, you tend to have quite a lot of science at your disposal. So it tends to go that way. Solo says, favourite brew so far? Favourite brew as far as in beer? Oh, I don't know. Favourite beers, it's difficult to say. Because by the time you tried a bunch of them, you've forgotten the first. But I like dark beers. My favourite dark beers... Oh, I've forgotten the name of it. I think it was a special Franziskaner. It was a VAT 10 or something. I forget what it was called, but it was like it was a wonderful, wonderful blend of a porter with a Weissbier, and it was really, really nice, really smooth, but sort of it had the depth of flavour of a darker beer. It was really good. That was probably my favourite beer. Apart from that, I liked Mikola's Beer Geek Breakfast. It was a big, heavy hitter. My wife has just messaged me. She informs me the boy is still awake. Never mind. Not my problem, though. Anyway, Drunk Cat says, do you know how to play Riichi Mahjong? Mahjong. I've played computerized Mahjong. I know the one, like the solitaire game with the cascade and the tiles and you have to remove them from the sides. That's the only Mahjong I know. There is another one, isn't it? There are a bunch of arcade games with Mahjong in, and you have a hand and you've got to play them. I have played those games. Is that Riichi Mahjong? I don't know. But no, I don't really know how to play it. Sorry. El Jonkmeister says, is there a god? I mean, I don't believe in a god personally, but then I also have a certain belief in the metaphysical, which means if there is a god that is supposed, then in at least that sense, there is a god, if that makes any sense. I don't believe in God's existence, other than in the sort of the metaphysical, the theoretical sense, in the sense that you could say that there was a God. And if you say there is a God, then surely there is a God, because you've just discussed the concept, so even if it's only a concept, anyway, But the answer is no. Thunderchild, have you considered creating something for Netflix? I prefer YouTube because YouTube is freely accessible. Everybody can view it, at least, obviously, all right, maybe China can't, but there are ways around it in China, and generally YouTube is universally accessible throughout the world. You don't have to pay, and that makes it very appealing because it means I've got the maximum possible audience for my videos. If I put my stuff on Netflix, I've restricted myself to Netflix's subscriber base, which is not what I want to do. Unless they paid me a lot of money. In which case I might say yes. But in terms of stuff like that, I'm not going to proactively seek a way to restrict my audience. I think I'd need for them to approach me, and it would need to be a compelling offer. And it would be compelling because I do value the universality of my potential audience, and I do value the fact that my videos go out for free. And if I was going to do something like, produce paid content for Netflix, I would need to then consider what I do with Patreon, because I'd probably suspend it if I was going to do that. Because it's not fair, the whole point of Patreon is, you guys fund me and I make my videos freely available. That's the whole deal. So, have I considered creating? Yeah, not really is the answer. Not unless they approach me with an offer I can't refuse. And I'll let you know if that ever happens. Sergeant Tollard says, thoughts on Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2, if any? I don't think I've played much of that. I played a bit of the first one and I did like it. But I don't think I played much of KOTOR 2. So I don't have many thoughts on it. Panzerbjorn says, how was lockdown with your kids? Essentially, it boils down to Lego and Netflix. That's pretty much all we did. We went for the occasional walk. We did spend time in the garden. I did a lot of grilling. So it wasn't terrible. It was just long days with the children and not a huge ability to do much else. But it's fine. It's fine. It's just being at home, isn't it, and chilling out. Scrumpleg says, have you played Minecraft Dungeons? If yes, what are your thoughts? I have played it. My boy loves Minecraft, and he was very excited at the release of Minecraft Dungeons. So yeah, I've played it through. There are 3 difficulty levels. The idea being you sort of complete it once, then you complete it on the middle difficulty level, then on the top one. I'm near the end on the middle difficulty level, to give you an idea of how far I'm through. So I've nearly completed 2 playthroughs. I quite liked it. It's all right. It's like a Minecraft-themed knockoff of Diablo 3. The end game isn't as polished, the loot isn't as interesting. In fact, the general game isn't as interesting as Diablo 3. It is an inferior game to Diablo 3, but as far as games I can play with my 4-year-old son, it's not bad. I don't mind playing it, it's fine. And the boy gets a kick out of it. He likes, the redstone monstrosities and the big creatures. So yeah, it's fine. It's not an amazing game. It could be developed, I think, into a better game. But yeah, it's fine. Praetorian says, what are some good root beers? It's difficult to get root beers in the UK, at least reliably. One of the most reliable ones that you can get in the UK, it's an Australian root beer called Bundaberg. Except in Australia, they market it as a sarsaparilla. In the UK, they call it root beer. But it's good. It is genuinely good. It's a pretty solid root beer, or sarsaparilla, and it's available in most places. I think Sainsbury's sell it, and I think Morrison's sell it. Other major supermarkets probably sell it as well. The only downside is it's quite expensive. I think it's you can get it in 4 by 375ml packets, and it costs around about £4.50 for that. So it's about £1 a bottle, a bit more in fact. But it's worth it because it is genuinely good. I try not to buy it habitually because it seems expensive, but I do enjoy it. I also liked, when I was in America, I liked Barq's. It's not like a big, heavy root beer. It's not a heavy hitter. It's not hugely flavoured, but it's something, Barq's is the root beer I would buy by the 2-litre bottle. It's the bulk root beer that I would quaff. I did enjoy it. It's a sharper tasting one. It's, got that sort of wintergreeny menthol hit with the carbonation that I quite like. The only downside to Barq's is I prefer to drink diet soft drinks, to cut on the calories really, because I don't mind the taste of diet soft drinks. But Diet Barq's doesn't have caffeine, at least it didn't back when I was drinking it. And I like having caffeine because it keeps me alert. Now, to be fair, it only keeps me alert because I need caffeine to function, because I'm addicted to caffeine. It's a vicious cycle, you know how it is. But, Anyway, James, thoughts on Horizon Zero Dawn's coming to PC? I think it's a good thing. It's a pretty good game. I enjoyed it. I actually did play through that on PS4. I don't play many PS4 exclusives, but I do try and play the good ones. But yeah, that's good. I mean, more people can play it, and that's always a good thing. And Catch Fire says, will you ever do a classic British iconic arm, say the Lee Enfield or Bren? Almost certainly, yes. Of those two, I'm not sure which I'd do first. Which is more iconic? I don't know. Probably the Lee Enfield is slightly more iconic. But it falls in with a lot of other bolt-action rifles. I mean, you've got, the Springfield, the Ki-98K, the Mosin. So you've got a lot of very samey weapons, whereas the Bren is distinctive, if slightly less iconic. So I don't know. I'm not sure which one will be first, but I would like to do both of those eventually. Way says, thought of doing audiobooks. Not really. I don't really want to be a voice actor. I find it quite difficult to do long recording sessions. It tires my voice out, and I'm not creatively satisfied by reading aloud, to put it bluntly. So I don't want to be a voice actor, I don't want to do audiobooks. Phil, any more videos like the Doom or Quake ones in the works? Maybe. I am thinking about Retro Ahoy. The trouble with Retro Ahoy is it's a chunk. It's a chunk of a video, I'll tell you that much. It's just this huge monolithic video about a video game, and it ends up being incredibly long. And part of me thinks, well, wouldn't it be better to do a smaller video on a game? Not necessarily, it's not that I want to, I want to go in the same level of detail, but maybe just focus on a part of a game. It wouldn't be a monolithic, this is the definitive video about this game. But it would be as in-depth, if not more, because, I wouldn't have to cram it in an hour-long video. That's where I'm at. I'm thinking about revising the format. Maybe even dropping the format. As not, the sort of stuff I do in Retro Ahoy will live on. But as far as doing it all in one video, I don't know. I'm thinking I might experiment with this. And I may one day do another big long video on a game. The only trouble is it takes a long time to do those videos. And it's tough. I'll skip that one. Bain Williams, you changed your audio setup in the previous video. Have you been happy with the results? What do you do to your audio post-processing wise? I swapped from a Rode Podcaster to a Rode Procaster. Why did I do that? I don't know. I thought I'd try it out, see what it was like. I wanted to switch to an XLR based rig rather than a USB one. That's part of the reason I did this. And I wanted to see if there was any sort of potential quality increase. And it turns out there is. It does sound a bit better. It's a richer, fuller sound. But I had to get a preamp as well. I got a cloud lifter just to boost it a bit. And that really helps. Apart from that, functionally, there isn't much difference. They both have a similar quality. They're similar microphones. But it is a bit richer and it sounds a bit fuller. And now I've got the XLR in. I have more choice in terms of microphone. So that's something. Post-processing, I compress and I maximize, and that's about it. I do a little bit of EQ as well. In fact, I found with the Procaster I had to do more EQ. The Podcaster, I think, maybe has some stuff built in. I think it does automatically EQ for voice. The Podcaster, the white one, it's good because it does almost everything for you. Just plug it in, USB, and you're good to go. The Procaster, you need to know a little bit more about what you're doing. You need to be able to tune the EQ so it sounds right. But no, I think you certainly can get better results. iDesolate says, what programming language are you planning to get the boy proficient in? Oh, I don't know. I mean, we're at the point now he can't read, so we'll get him reading first. Once he's reading, we'll think about maybe. If I was going to teach him a programming language myself, probably C#. Is that child abuse? I'm not sure it is. It could be worse. It could be Java. But C# is, well, the logical one is basic, I think, for learning. Maybe not, I wouldn't do. Oh, maybe not Visual Basic. But I don't know. I don't know. Drunk Cat says, "Are you pouring something terribly right now?" Oh, I'm not pouring. I'm drinking. Got that much left. I think it was a perfectly adequate pour. It's Corona, for goodness sake. The links with the recent launch of Command & Conquer Remastered. Will you do a retrohoy covering the franchise's story? I may. But again, doing an hour-long retrohoy on Command & Conquer is a multiple-month commitment, and I don't have that many months. So, I don't know. I'm thinking I'd rather do 10-minute videos. So maybe I can think about doing a 10-minute video on Command & Conquer. I do like Command & Conquer. I also like other games. XCOM, UFO Enemy Unknown, as I know it, that's high up the list. I'd like to do something with that. But I'm cooking it. I'm thinking about it. I want to get an angle. Vanessa, how's your Satisfactory Factory coming along? Any good progress made? Ahoy plays when? Maybe I could do a bonus with it. I was thinking, to be honest, I could probably just record the bonus whilst I do the vlog. But I don't know. I don't know if I could juggle a microphone and a beer at the same time. But yes, I've bought Satisfactory recently because it came to Steam. And it looked really cool, and it turns out, actually, yeah, it is a pretty cool game. I've played probably... I don't know. It says I've played 12 hours, but I think I might have left it on overnight. I have just reached Tier 3. My factory is an absolute mess. I need to tear everything down and start again, if I'm honest. But yeah, I'll put some time into it. I need to lay down some foundations, I think, and build everything on a nice grid, rather than just sort of having it all spread out. But I'm going to unlock coal first. That shouldn't take too long, hopefully. I've just unlocked Tier 3 because I did the space elevator thing. I sent off 50 smart plates. So now I've got Tier 3 unlocked. I should be able to get coal power, and then once I've automated my power, it should all be good. Kyle T357, favourite movie and or series? Oh, what comes to mind? Matrix comes to mind. I like sci-fi from the late 90s. Existenz, Gattaca, Mimic, I quite enjoyed. None of these are spectacular films. Well, alright, Gattaca is. The Matrix comes to mind as well. That's my, that's my sort of favourite era. Das Rufkin says, what is your favourite all-time video game weapon? Probably the Wastems from Marathon 2. They're combat shotguns that you flip cock. They're dead good. Just Don't Look 01. What are your thoughts on Xbox Series X and PS5? It's interesting seeing the standoff between the two of them, I've got to say. We'll find out prices soon, I expect. And then, yeah, it's interesting. It's not a hugely exciting transition, is it? It's basically the same as what we've got, but a little bit more powerful. Which is, fine. But it's like the transition to the Xbox One X. It's just a bump up, really. But it'll be nice. I actually quite like the design of the Xbox Series X. Yes, it is just a black cuboid with holes on the top, but I do quite like it. I'm probably going to get both. The Series X is probably going to become... That's probably going to become my main console that I play games on. The PS5 I will retain for exclusives. Although, like I said, my boy is 4 now, so the next couple of years he's going to become a bit more involved with video games, I think. So he'll probably steal my PS5 and start playing Fortnite or something. What's the average age of Fortnite players? It's like 6 or 7, isn't it? So he's due to start. I mean, he's already halfway there. He's 4 and he can't read. Canadian Sapien says, best COD, worst COD. Best COD, COD 4. Worst COD. Worst COD? Ooh. Ghosts feels like the cheapest answer. But I don't know. Not sure. What's the worst COD? Maybe Infinite Warfare. Maybe Advanced Warfare. I didn't like Advanced Warfare at all. So I don't know. I'm not sure about Worst God. Skytech CEO says, what's your idea on games such as Armour? I've played a bit of Armour. I'm not really into sort of hardcore milsim, but, I'm familiar with the games. Fireflies Red says MP5 or MPX. MP5, I prefer the classics. The Cody Kid says, have you ever worked with machine learning? Not extensively. I've probably done some stuff which approaches that in my days as a programmer, but not really explicitly machine learning. Epoch Pilot says, watched any good TV shows lately? Not really. No, I'm not huge on TV. I'd rather play video games than sit down and watch a TV series. TV-wise, I have been watching... there's a quiz show called Only Connect. I've been watching that on YouTube. I'm pretty sure I've watched almost every single episode of it. I just stick it on in the background. It's alright, yeah, it's fine. It's a bit pretentious. It's a bit navel-gazing, but I quite like quiz shows. I also enjoy The Chase and Tipping Point. That's typical tea time fare. I do like sticking that on. But yeah, it's background stuff for me, really. Also, I've been rewatching the early seasons of The Simpsons on Disney Plus. It's not the first time I've seen these episodes. It's probably the third or fourth time I've watched. I've watched The Simpsons loads, but again, it's something I'll stick on whilst I'm feeding baby breakfast or something. Kodemo, would you ever consider making your top 10 most influential games of all time into a video? A gargantuan task, I know. Top 10 lists, really? I guess maybe I could do. It's probably best doing that as a personal video on Ahoy 2. I don't know. I mean, I've been asked all sorts of questions about, what games I like, that sort of thing. Desolate says PS5 or Xbox Series X. I lean Xbox currently, but that's only because I prefer the controller, and that's where I play most of my games, and that's where I've got most of my games tied to my account. Aret Link says, if we ever get Titanfall 3, will you do weapon reviews on those? Hypothetically speaking, unlikely. Although, it'd be nice to do a video for Titanfall 3 if it ever came out. Crackers the Parrot says, what is the nicest thing you've ever bought / spent money on? Nicest thing? Are we talking like the most expensive? Or most expensive sort of relative to what you'd expect to spend on something? It's a good question. I don't know. Most expensive thing? Probably my house. I bought 2 of those actually, although I did sell one. Apart from that, the nicest thing. I mean, I bought a new car for the first time last year. It's not something that was, it's the thing about new cars, you can sort of spread the cost, so I haven't really even come close to paying the full cost of it yet. But yeah, that was 19 grand I spent on a car. That's something, isn't it? But I haven't spent that much yet. I don't have 19 grand. Certainly not anymore. The nicest thing. I spent £330 on my office chair. You see, I'm used to going to IKEA and spending maybe £100. Well, this one, I spent £40 on this one for my garage, and it's fine. It's got armrests and everything. But I figured, what I really wanted was a Herman Miller Aeron chair, but they are quite expensive. They are very expensive. So I went for a Herman Miller Sail. That's SAYL, which uses a similar web, and it's nice. It's it's ergonomic and it's comfortable, and I can work in it all day, and it's it's not going to give me back problems down the line. So it's worth paying for a nice chair for that reason alone, just for the ergonomics. But yeah, that was quite nice. Nicest thing? Oh, well, that's a difficult question. It's a difficult question. Postman Pat says, what inspired you to do YouTube? Greetings from Denmark. Hello. What inspired me to do YouTube? What inspired me to start the Xbox Ahoy channel was my blog, which was called Xbox Ahoy. I thought I'd have a YouTube channel to go alongside that blog so I could upload videos. You know, that's what inspired the start. But what inspired me to do YouTube was a desire to get into video production, which was born from a desire to do multimedia stuff. I've always been multimedia. I've always liked doing that, which is why I got into web design. But the idea of combining voice, graphics, sound, music, video, all in one piece of work, that was appealing. Spec says, what is your platform of choice to play/record video game footage these days? Probably the Xbox. I mean, I like the PC. The PC is my prime gaming platform. Let me be clear. But I like playing on the Xbox. The reason for that is because console games are sort of frozen in time. So like a game from 2006, if you play it, it will always look like a game from 2006. Whereas if I go back to 2006 on PC, it'll look different to how it looked originally, which is slightly inauthentic. And it also becomes a bit of a pain because games from 2006 didn't always run in widescreen. So I spend a lot of time recording on PC looking for widescreen patches, which is fine. You know, I don't mind. It's fine. I'm prepared to do it, but it can be a bit of a pain sometimes. You know, there is a certain era of PC games which are annoying to record. About 2001 to 2004, there's this hole when 3D standards weren't quite fully established. It becomes difficult to record, and they're always in full screen, and you have to modify them to get them to run in widescreen. But on the consoles, stick them in. They work, and they look how they're supposed to, generally. T-Charmer, how's the kids? They're fine, they're fine. Baby's doing alright. She's got a bit of eczema. You know, sensitive skin. But apart from that, she's healthy, and she's learning how to walk. She can crawl and stuff now, which is dangerous. But yeah, she's doing well. She's eating solid food now. She's getting better. She's at a very sweet age, actually. All right, James D. What's your top 3 firearms for the zombie apocalypse? Top 3. Well, I don't know. You're probably going to want something. You're probably going to want a pistol, and then you're probably going to want a long arm, and then you maybe let's split it: pistol, rifle, something heavy. Because I think with zombies, what you really want is, it's not about power. It's not even about accuracy. It is to a degree. I think it's about having as many bullets as possible. I think for the heavy, it has to be a machine gun, doesn't it? Whatever you can get your hands on, some light machine gun. Let's face it, I mean, if you're the only place you're really likely to get an LMG is military sources, and so then it's going to be an M249 or an M240, so a mini-me or a mag. That'll be your heavy weapon. If you can get that in your base of operations, as it were, for when stuff hits the fan and you actually, you know, you've got a mob of zombies that you need to take down. That's your final stand weapon, of course. You don't want to attract too much attention, but I feel like the ability to put down a large amount of fire and have a kill zone, that would be important. Okay. So, you also want a weapon that you can carry around with you. Something that fires a common... You see, I'd normally be drawn to a 308, but I think with zombies, you probably want to go for something lighter, so 223. So, a modern military rifle that shoots 5.56, something like a Scar L. We'll go for a Scar L. We'll just go full FN, shall we? Might as well. Just take a road trip to Belgium, stock up, come back, survive the zombie apocalypse. Nice and easy. A Scar L, with as many mags as you could find. Some light machine gun, it really doesn't matter as long as you've got lots of ammunition for it. And then pistol, again, doesn't matter. A Glock or something would do. Just something that you can always have on your side. So if you get caught with your trousers down, it's still in your holster, even if your rifle's not ready. Vanessa says, what's your top 3 firearms for the robot apocalypse? Robots? How do you kill robots? I think with robots, you're going to need something with a bit more power, aren't you? You'd probably want to go for explosives, maybe. Maybe robots are going to be like big hulking, like sectopod things. At that point, you want a rocket launcher. Just get as many rocket launchers as you can. Apart from that, kinetic weapons, are they going to work? Shotguns, maybe. If we're talking like light-skinned cyborgs, non-armored robots, maybe shotguns, because you want to hit a cable or a wire or something that will take it down. Shotgun will do broad range of damage. So yeah, a shotgun. I don't know what, doesn't really matter. They all function pretty much the same. Maybe a nice modern one, Benelli M4, why not? Other than that, I don't know. Definitely a rocket launcher of some kind. Maybe then a rifle with an underslung grenade launcher. I don't know, would grenades be effective? Maybe you'd go for an HEDP grenade, something that will have an armor penetration effect if you get a direct hit. Still, risky business. Robots could be tricky. S-Mash says, would you ever do a history of RTS? Maybe. Spec, important question. What percentage of milk is the superior choice? We don't do milk by a percentage here. We have full fat, or whole milk, semi-skimmed, skimmed. I don't drink much milk, but when I do have milk, I prefer to go for whole milk, because that's what milk is, isn't it? I don't mind semi-skimmed. I don't really mind skimmed, but I figure I generally go for whole milk. Anyway, I have run out of beer, which means legally I don't have to answer any more questions. And besides, I'm gonna be woken up probably at 6 a.m. tomorrow. That's just how it is. It's already 10 o'clock, which means right now we are at 7 hours and 50 minutes of sleep, and every minute I stay up is a minute taken away from 8 hours. So there's a few more questions. I'm sorry if I didn't get to your question. There is quite a lot that I've missed, I'm afraid. We've probably done about 75% of the questions, but they're still trickling in. So apologies if I missed your question. I'll drink a larger beer next time. Hopefully I'll have had more sleep and I'll be better rested, and I might even have a video out by then. We'll see. Things to look forward to this month. I'm filming for my big boxes video. The script is finished. I need to perform the script. That's going to happen tomorrow. And then from there, we can start editing. I can start filming. I've got a bunch of boxes ready. What's this? It's Microprose Gunship. This is not a big box. This is a mid box. Wasn't until later that Microprose started using big boxes. Now this is a big box. This is Broderbund's The Ancient Art of War. See, compare, contrast. Mid box, big box, big box. It is indeed a mighty big box. There's a pile of boxes there, ready to film. Actually, if you see there, this thing is a light tent. It's used for product photography. It's what I'll be using to film these boxes. I've got some Perspex stands. I've got a turntable. It's spared no expense. Spared no expense at all. But yeah, I'm going to be doing some test shooting and getting set up, and then I just need to record a bunch of basically games spinning around. That's all. There'll be some rotation. There'll also be some detail shots. Some of the interior contents For instance, I've got some Infocom games, and they came with feelies, like scratch and sniff cards, stuff like that. So there are some contents of the boxes, because ultimately that's the driver of the size of the box, is the contents. But yeah, this video is going to be a relatively interesting, I think, I don't know, history of computer game packaging. It's all right. There have been a couple of other videos about boxes. I think LGR and Metal Jesus Rocks. I'd look to them for content about video game boxes. I do think this is going to be right up LGR's alley. I think he'll enjoy. But yeah, that's going to come soon enough. That's what I'm working on. And then after that, it's going to be another episode of Iconic Arms on the flamethrower. The flamethrower. I mean, that's going to be a good solid episode. Nice, yeah. So that's what I'm doing. So I reckon, how long for, I don't know, at least a couple of weeks on production and filming and finalising this. Maybe a little bit more, just because I'm not quite at 100% capacity yet. Like, for instance, my son goes to nursery, but my daughter's still at home. So I do sometimes have to, step in while my wife does stuff. So I'm not quite at 100% capacity. But then, trust me, it's probably best that I help with the baby, otherwise my wife would go insane. So yes, apologies for the delay. Obviously, the global pandemic is. We'll pin the blame entirely on that rather than my own tardiness. But I'm going to pencil in another vlog for July. I have a haircut booked for July the 8th when my hairdresser reopens. You might think, oh, Stu, you don't need a haircut. I am very skilled in the art of concealing my hair. It's all swept back. It is getting, I don't know if you can see. It's longer than it appears. I've ruined it now. Yeah, I have a side parting and I can sweep it all back. But the illusion only works on the front. Anyway, apologies if I didn't get to your question, as I said. Thank you very much for watching. Until next time, farewell.